This series is supported by Cove Motorcycles South Africa, protected by Liat, carried by Turkana Gear, and recorded on Insta360 cameras.
Last night I got some news. I need to get back to Gauteng. On the morning that we are going up Sani into Lesotho, there's unfortunately no other way about it. I have to go. So to me this is the end, but they're continuing. And it splits a bit. Me this side, the team the other side. Damn it. It's going to be hard riding.
Cheers! What right? Into the town of Underberg towards Howick. Today will necessitate some rainy, hard riding, sticking it in the rain all the way from Humble to Gauteng, and then to the Cape, and then to Ceres. And here we are with our first stop and go.
While the guys are making their way to their breakfast table, I'm building up momentum. I need to nail it home to Pretoria, get out of my riding gear, and then board a shuttle to OR Tambo Airport, fly to Cape Town, and then rent a car to get me close to the town of Ceres, catch a quick nap, and then be ready at 6 a.m. for a 12-hour TV ad shoot. It might just be doable, even if Google Maps tells me this morning's ride to Pretoria will take more than 9 hours. Hopefully, the guys will have a more relaxed day on tour. The group's plan for the day is to get into Lesotho via the iconic Sani Pass, then ride the brilliant newly surfaced tar roads through the mountains towards Katse Dam. From there, they take an easy gravel shortcut and then join up with the A1 North to the overnight stop at Oxbow Lodge. The gravel section of Sani Pass stretches for 8 kilometers between the South African and Lesotho border posts, but it is entirely situated on the South African side of the border, as it climbs the ridge through the Mkomasi wilderness area. The road surface is wide, but mostly washed away, as road maintenance isn't done on a regular basis. The pass was originally used by the San and Bantu people before the Basutoland government constructed a 2-meter wide track in 1922 to connect the town of Mokotlong in Lesotho to the town of Heimville in South Africa. It was only accessible by pack mule until 1949, when David Alexander started a transport business using jeeps on Sani Pass. While the guys were enjoying the views on Sani, I was heading up another pass 150 kilometers away, stopping again at Swinburne for a quick fuel top-up. The top part of Sani Pass consists of 13 technically challenging hairpin turns, with the undulating track reaching inclines of 1 in 3 in some places. Like with most gravel passes, the effort is always worthwhile when you take a moment at the top to appreciate the view. Back on the N3, I was just holding my head down, ignoring the view. The road conditions on the Lesotho side surprised most first-time visitors, as the pristine paved surface of the Katse Pass summited at 3,244 meters above sea level. Back on the highway in the RSA, I eventually reached my final fuel stop at Villiers.
How's it? Good, thank you. Fill up 95, please.
The towering new Senkyu Bridge is a gleaming example of the impressive infrastructure development happening in Lesotho. Here, it crosses a relatively small stream that eventually becomes the Orange River, the longest river in South Africa, flowing through 3 different countries. The road winding over the Maluti mountaintops eventually reaches Katse Dam, the centerpiece of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project, storing and exporting water to South Africa and generating hydroelectric power for Lesotho. It's here where the guys stop for a quick lunch.
Hier is wonder of ons moet aantrek.
Gesundheid. Lekker broodjies. Cheers. Vir jou 'n volstel.
After lunch, the guys head into the amazing Maluti Mountains again, on the rural gravel tracks northeast of Katse Dam, before they link back to the tar road heading further north. According to the GPS, this short 50-kilometer section would take almost 3 hours. Surely, the GPS was mistaken. "10 minutes into the track, it became clear that the GPS might have been right. These clay tracks are as snotty as they could get after weeks of rain in the area. The constant struggle through the mud had some guys seriously considering trading their bikes for a local Basotho pony. And just when you think that you've conquered all the challenges, the high water levels make the track impassable, and the group must cross using a pedestrian bridge with a rather tricky approach.
Well, over here we need to cross a very narrow little rickety bridge because I'm not prepared to cross the official road over there.
Turns out the footbridge isn't that bad an option to take. That's of course if you manage to reach it. Marinus gets catapulted over the edge onto huge rocks at the bottom, with a bike narrowly missing him on the way down.
One tough record holder.
But this wasn't so much fun. I'm not going to do it again. Well, it's like this edge. It's a small footpath.
Yeah.
And my back wheel slipped out and down I went.
A little bit of a nose job, and that's about all that's wrong with the bike. So we're just waiting for the backup vehicle, the chase car, to come and fetch us.
By this time, the vehicle and 2 other riders have already reached our overnight stop at Oxbow Lodge. We give them a call and they backtrack with a vehicle to pick up Marius, who by now started to feel pain in his ribs. France also brings one of the other riders along to ride Marius's damaged bike all the way back to the lodge. While Andy waited with Marinus, the rest of the group pushed on through the mud and river crossings. Little did they know that the next 40-odd kilometers of gravel would take them hours to complete. France and the recovery team was now on their way to pick up Marinus. While the team was still crossing rivers and sliding over muddy passes into the darkness. More than 300 kilometers away, after all my hard riding, my flight to Cape Town had the first of what would be 2 successive delays.
Dis hierdie gaan ons nou lekker wees, nat boots en koue. Ek is bly ek is nou op 'n bike.
The vehicle eventually picked up Marinus, and they were now slowly making their way back to the lodge. My flight eventually took off. And by the time it landed, I just had another 2 hours drive to get to my overnight stop. Hopefully, the guys were safe at Oxbow Lodge by now.
What a beautiful morning in Lesotho. We're at Oxbow Lodge, and this is a real pleasure after yesterday, which turned quite snotty. We were rescuing Marinus's bike and Marinus until 10 o'clock last night. Marinus is okay, he's broken a couple of ribs. He's in fair spirits considering how much pain he's in.
I think that's what adventure riding is all about. When things get tough, adventure bikers stand together.
The guys enjoyed a hearty breakfast while sharing some of yesterday's highlights, and Andy gives a quick briefing of what to expect for the day before they saddle up and ride north towards the RSA again. The morning's route will be a scenic ride along the newly surfaced road, skirting the Mohokare River on the northern border of Lesotho, crossing at Munantsa border post and overlanding through the Golden Gate Park towards the town of Clarence. Meanwhile, in the Western Cape, I've had my 2-hour nap and was attending the safety briefing at the start of my 12-hour workday on the set of an advertisement shoot for a local accommodation booking website. My face and focus might be here, but my heart is most definitely with my friends riding the twisting passes through the mountains of Lesotho. The guys in Lesotho were now on the road down Gauteng Pass, making their way to Boetabute on the A1 before turning right on the new road towards the Munantsa border post. When the route took the guys through some lacquer cross-country tracks on the far eastern side of Golden Gate Park, they were back in their element, appreciating every rocky jump, mud hole and gravel corner. The last section of the morning's ride takes the guys towards Clarence, with a tar road splitting the iconic sandstone sentinels of the Golden Gate National Park. time for lunch and light refreshments.
It was a perfect mix of adventure and some relaxed driving. Of course, Lesotho tried to kill us. Last night, getting back in the dark, 7 degrees Celsius, wet, that wasn't too pleasant. We've done mud, but not like that. Steep up and down and twisties and river crossings. That was awesome. That's the kind of stuff that we would normally do with a plastic bike, and we did it with these big adventure bikes. Well, there's a beer fest, I believe, this weekend, and we've arrived just in time for the build-up. So we will make sure that enough beer gets sold.
And indeed, some of the guys decide to spend an extra day in Clarence, helping out the local economy as best they can, while the remainder of the group heads back home towards Gauteng. This adventure has once again reminded an old dog of a few tricks that I might have forgotten along the way. Don't race through landscapes. You'll miss its magic. Mechanicals and riding challenges will expose your true unfiltered character and remind you who you really are. And new experiences and places are right under your nose, waiting to be discovered. You just have to make the decision and then make the time. But for now, the team rides home into the sunset. This moment only serves as motivation for our next excursion, coming up in a month or two, when we ride into the northwestern Namibian desert wilderness of Kaokoland on a nearly 5,000 kilometer return trip. Remember to subscribe to the channel to stay updated. Until then, keep on discovering. This series was supported by Cove Motorcycles South Africa, protected by Liat, carried by Turkana Gear, and recorded on Insta360 cameras.